And good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. The last of the Magnificent Seven, unless we elevate NVIDIA, which probably is, or at least the two out of the last three, reported today, and that was Amazon and Apple. And it's a very mixed picture where one continues to just climb higher, and that's Amazon, and the other is now beginning to relax and take a second look like, okay, are you guys tired, or whatever the situation is? And that would be Apple. Now, I am going to actually start in the cash markets because what I want to present right now is an alternate view that warrants a look. And that's, again, kind of on what's Amazon's doing and the perception of what Apple would have done. So we're right on that ledge of really kind of knowing which particular count. But where I thought there would be an overlap is a little bit different because the degree has shifted. So I'm going to start with the SPX. I'm going to do this as quickly as I can because it's a lot to cover on a regular update. I'm going to pull this out. We're going to take a look at the daily chart. On the daily chart, what we have is minor one, minor two, and then a very extended third, doubly extended. So, but true in terms of what Elliott told us third waves are, there it is. A true third wave. It extended, and inside the third extended, and each of the others clearly made their own five waves. So, and here we just had that extension within the third, and it was not easy to count, but it does fit. So that would assume in the cash market that what completed on July the 27th was minor wave 3, and that we're in a minor wave 4. Bringing it down very quickly to put it on the hourly, and you've got, there's the top of 5, right? And minor wave 3. Then we have an A, a B, and we're working through a C wave down that likely still needs one more little trip down and finding support, I would think, maybe above if it turns and just starts going higher, or below 44.85, and in which case we probably would be looking, let me just pull this out one more notch. Yeah, this is like, it's going to be supported with resistance going up on this basis, which, by the way, this changes. So I'm going to take those down right now. And we're going to go from here to here to here, if that's the low. And that would then give us the upside. So in any case, it really takes things a lot higher. And where 100% still comes in below the all-time high, but much higher than what was expected. Again, this is the cash market. I'm presenting it because it is in the realm of possibilities. And if it gets up, I think, that high in the cash market, there's a fair chance that the futures market would go to a new all-time high before turning. Now, I'm presenting this here in the cash. Because at first I thought I needed to be, or I was feeling this particular count needed to be careful on where it would overlap wave 1. So I came in and took a look, and wave 1 is way down here, way down there. So it has the room to drop to 44.75, 44.71, and then rally. That's in the cash. Over in the futures market, I've left it as the way I've had the labeling, with a very strange but possible triangle pattern for this wave 4. Otherwise, the 4 really would come down to here. And this would all turn into minute. You'd have to have this minute 3, minute 4, and then you do a 5 up to complete minor wave 3. But to me, it doesn't count that well. And I've been very comfortable with how this minute 5th wave for the minor 5th wave has been counting out. So I'm going to leave it for right now. And under here, again, your minor's all the way down here. So if this is a minor 4, there's plenty of downside room. At what level do you start to say, well, that would be way, 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 way too big? So the look and the feel has got to be in there as well. Even if it came down to the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, that it's essentially, if this was minor wave 3, it would be down in here. So again, that's out there. Now, the market obviously is going to tell us, because here is the balance. We are seeing in the bond market another strong decline today, a very strong decline. At one point, the 30-year bond was again down 2 points. So, and then floating down, it is affecting the long end of the curve, and the short end is kind of also being affected, but they're reacting to being downgraded. So if the focus returns now to inflation, what the Fed's going to do, where interest rates are, then maybe we start paying attention to that pecking order again. Interest rates sitting at the top, so changes up there float down. It isn't that the earnings float up and make interest rates go down. That's not how it works. So now that the earnings are really out, and I think people hopefully are putting together, that's last quarter. Yep, they're all talking about that it's going to happen this quarter, but that's all before what we're seeing now, more evidence of maybe there is a softening, maybe there is something going on, and we need to pay attention to that and its long-term implications, and even its short-term implications on our country, on the Treasury, having to do, supposedly, coming up in the 3rd quarter, maybe the 4th, one of the two, $1 trillion refunding. And I got to go out and sell $1 trillion worth of bonds. And I'm sure they're not want to do it at 5.5% to 6% or higher. But here we are. Get yourself downgraded, U.S. And now you're going to be confronting some situations. So what trumps what, so to speak? Right? Is it going to be, the promise that Amazon, Apple will turn around, everything's going to keep going because our economy is improving, quote unquote, via the numbers, which is really just nothing more than the recovery of people getting back to offices or where they were, and companies getting more full because everybody's returning. So we're traveling, we're doing different things, we're going back, and the supply into the economy has been there. Okay. But are things really improving? So in terms of, is commercial real estate improving? Are they coming up with plans? Are city leaders coming up with how to revitalize their own downtowns, should that be the case? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to really go into it right now, but these things all come together, and then you try to put it together. So one of the things that I thought of is like, indeed, if this is a minor 4th wave, and we still have a minor 5th to do in the S&P, and we actually do manage to head up to levels you're like, whoa, then we're still looking at not much more than where we already were, or where we've been below. So again, even if it's an ABC, yes, we're going to go up. Yes, we're going to get above levels that we've just been at. But it all has to happen. And again, too many signs that that's not the case. So we're going to let this play out a little bit more. That's the alternate view. If I don't tell you about it, then everybody gets upset. I'm not changing anything. I'm sticking to what I say, because I do think interest rates are going to turn in the rule, and they sit at the top still. It isn't earnings sit at the top of dictating direction of what you got to pay for the money. So they may come in, but their margin cost is going to be higher. Margin interest, et cetera, et cetera. So in any case, That's there. Right now, I'm thinking that what's going to win out of this battle overnight could possibly be Apple. In terms of Apple has a greater weighting in the indexes. In the S&P and the NASDAQ, it has a heavier weighting. Therefore, if it goes down more than Amazon goes up, starting in the morning, or actually, a little bit later tonight, then we will see the market decline. And then if I'm looking at, I still believe that we need to get in one more drop. And I think that's going to be this to here. And then this I put in as the, let me get rid of that. And I didn't mean to. I want to get rid of this one, which is just retracements for this small wave 4. And it came up to almost a little bit above 236, not quite up to 382. So I think we can be ready to kind of drop down a little bit. Now I'm going to put the other one back up since I just took it down and didn't mean to. And right there. Okay, so I think we can drop one more time for 44.91. It's kind of been hanging out there. And I think that's where we'll get a 5 and then possibly a minute wave 3. And then we get a 4 and then another 5 and then minor wave 1. Now that's my take. We'll see what happens. Upside, if they come in and they just decide, you know what, this is all cooking and we're have more belief in Amazon than anything else, well, we break above 45, 41 and we keep going. And then it turns into, that might be the low of whatever, a C wave. Or even if I'm going to say that that's a low and we're going to go, this would, yeah, it's a toughie, but it has to go. Sort of like it did, but didn't last, and go and not stop. That would be, to me, what needs to happen. Because it would be an ABC complete 4, and we're off in the 5, and you're launching in a first wave, and it should just go. So otherwise, if we come down here, we get here first, put a 3, and then look for the wave 4, which also will be an ABC. Again, probably to come back up to this area, because it would be 4 of this 5 waves going down. So that's, 3, 4, looking for the 5. And then that turns into a 3. So then we got another 4, and it's going to top in the area of the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, and that's right here. So again, return back up to here, come back down in a 5, but this time I'll measure it out differently because we won't be using these. And once I get the outside 4 done, then you got something else to work on, and they can bring it in. All right. Over in the NASDAQ, going to do the same exercise, the NDX. Oops. No, NDX all by itself. Same deal. I'm going to go over this pretty quickly so that we can get a picture of it. I need the 4-hour chart. You can see it's the same thing. It's taking the 3rd, minor wave 3, which I have here, putting it up to the high to thus far. So at in the NDX at 15,841. No, 15,932. Take that all back. And from that, just completed minor wave 3, and we're in the process of completing minor wave 4. Again, the fact that minor wave 1 is all the way down at 13,152. So yes, it has more room to fall to the downside and to get into its 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, which is below 15,270. So that's top line support to complete it, right? To complete this and start a minor 5th wave. That would be the alternate view. Now, what goes against it? Apple continues to decline. They begin to start to give up on other companies that are going to fall into that same classification. They're giants, they're titans, they're confronting their own internal, where are we going to come up with the money? We got to shift things around. What do we want to focus on type stuff? Apple's not the only one that's having, delivery problems, or soft sales in certain areas. But, do we see it in Meta? Do we see it in Microsoft? So then are we going to then hang our hat on NVIDIA, which reports? So here's the scenario. They could keep it up into this area, trade up, not really breaking either side, keeping us in limbo until NVIDIA reports. Now, I think that the outside pressure via interest rates may overtake that. So it doesn't make any difference how great or bad or whatever indifferent the underlying becomes. It turns into that the trade will be volatility trade, and that's really what I think will take over. So we know what the earnings are. So these sudden gyrations just rally up. So Amazon, you got your new level. And then it works from there. All right. So over in the NDX or in the NQ, I'm leaving it the way that I've been counting it. So I'm going to come down and start on the hourly chart because that's where I am. But understand that if this were minor wave 3, A, B, C, and here it's kind of a strange pattern, but if I put it down and I put it on the line chart, look what it does. It turns into a very clean 3 waves. So that bounce all the way up was an extreme. So when you put it on the close, you see the pattern. So we could, that's finishing a third here, that's a 4. We got one more. And so we're looking to see where that support is. Now, these go along with the third wave. 100% pretty much touched. So what's next? Well, we're going to find something down inside of here. And you can go with something such as this, if that indeed tops it out right there. You're looking for, well, same thing. Wave 5, wave 3, wave 5 to wave 3 would, 618, 15,185, even down to equality, but equality just pushes it down to that larger fib, 14,000. And one other that you can use, going to remove that, and we're going to stay there. And we're going to go to this way and bring it all the way to there. So there you can see that it really doesn't go much further than where we've been. So we can come down, and that's looking at this internal wave 1 to where this wave 5 will come in. So minuet wave 1 to what minuet wave 5 could look like. And it's already, let me stick one more so I can tell you what it's all going to look like. Get rid of most of this because it no longer makes a difference. Quickly, because I know I'm taking too much time, right? Put this over here. And 1618, not too much further than where we've been. So we're looking like it drops back down to 15,325-ish. Or we can get all the way down to 15,220. Either one works. And then rally, but it would be a 4. So again, even if it's an ABC, still looking for this one more. So looking for it to drop, but it would not turn, then it would not be completing a wave 3. It would be completing a minor 4, and we launch off. So a lot of it will be take in what happens, and we'll be able to put in, if we're looking at a wave 4, we'll be able to measure it out. If we're looking for the launch of a wave 1, it's going to have a different fib. And so, and it's going to look different, and it's going to feel different. So again, a lot will become very clear once we're done with this either minor 4 or minute wave 3 of minor wave 1 down. So that's where I'm going to finish this up. And moving averages and everything else are all basically following along and not really drawing a favoritism to either view. So we saw them all participate in the drop. And in the daily continues. It's still, I can't see where the 20 is. Oh, the 20 is up here. It's still below the 20. And produced a little bit of a green bar for today. So no big deal. All right, I'm going to finish it up there. Our next update will be, believe it or not, Sunday on August the 6th.